Alright guys, welcome back to week 3 of the Nerd Herder Show. I'm Nick.
I'm Rich.
And so it's October.
Yeah.
And October means one thing, and one thing only, to me.
Yep, same.
And I think you as well. Halloween.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Favorite month.
Comes every year, October 31st.
As October does.
Awkward. And this is my favorite holiday. Like, hands down. You can have your Christmases, you can have your Labor Days, you can have your St. Patrick's Days. I'll take Halloween every year.
As one does every year.
Yes, well, I mean, you're kind of stuck with it, unless you're like Mormon or something like that. But I love Halloween. And so today we decided that we're just going to talk about not our favorite horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to save that discussion maybe for a week or two.
Yeah.
But just kind of the things that we do every year to get ready for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So we might talk about some of our favorite horror movies, but we're not going to fully break that down for you yet. We're just going to talk about the things that we do every October to get ready for that, for Hallows Eve. So what about you? What is the first thing that you do every October?
One of the first things I do probably tends to go towards Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack.
Okay.
What better way to kick off October than with This Is Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
The original soundtrack, not that remixed bullshit thing that they did a few years ago for the anniversary.
Like Fall Out Boy and whoever. Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, that was weird.
Marilyn Manson, right? On a Disney album.
Yeah, that still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever. I mean, if you like it, that's cool. Whatever. I'm just not a big fan of it. No, I meant.
Okay, right.
I don't care about you. I don't care what you think.
Alright, fuck you.
That one thing I used to do, I haven't for a couple of years, is I used to plan it out where every day of October I would watch one horror film.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people who do that, but the last couple times I did it, it kind of got to be a bit of a chore. Like, with so much work and this and that, it was one of those things that I'd be up till 3 a.m. one night because I'm like, I got to get in my daily horror film. And so I've kind of let that go, but I do tend to try to watch more and more horror films around this time. Night Before Christmas especially, it's the perfect time to kind of get into that.
Yep.
Trick or Treat is a big one for me for Halloween, just because I feel that really captures the spirit of what Halloween is incredibly well. If you guys haven't seen Trick or Treat, definitely seek it out. Have you seen it? Okay. And of course, Halloween is the movie Halloween.
You have to watch Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sort of the same way. See, for me, in the past I have done the thing where, I've attempted to watch 31, a movie a day, a Halloween horror movie a day, and it never works out. There's always something that comes up, and then you get pissed at yourself, and so I stopped trying to do that too, but I do always hit, a few majors. And for me, I'm a person who, it's not that I don't like horror, it's just horror is not my favorite genre.
Okay.
And so if there's one time of the year where I'm going to watch that stuff, it's going to be now. And so there are certain movies that that are recent entries into the every year and old entries. Like Nightmare Before Christmas is an every year occurrence. Poltergeist is an every year
absolutely
occurrence.
Poltergeist.
There's some other ones like Halloween, of course, I watch it every year. And I also, people don't like it. I like the Rob Zombie Halloween 1.
Okay.
I'll watch that. Maybe not every year, but every other year for sure. And there's some, there's definitely some other ones that I definitely have to hit every single October. A recent one that I've watched the last, I guess probably 3 years since it came out, 4 years, is Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Watch it every year.
That's a great one.
It's one that just has to happen. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, and then another one, Drag Me to Hell. That's one that since that came out, I watch it every single.
It's one of those I don't feel like gets enough credit sometimes.
Yeah.
Just kind of came and it blew up with some of the horror fans, and then it just kind of fluttered away.
But so movies, of course, we're going to talk about movies.
Yeah.
Out the wazoo. I guarantee we'll do a top horror list. But there are other things, entertainment-wise, that definitely mean Halloween to me.
Okay.
And one thing that, going back to when I was a kid, I've always enjoyed is how most sitcoms do Halloween episodes.
Yes.
And I love that. I've always loved it. And, it's been forever since I even watched the show. I don't even know if it's good or what, but as a kid, I used to always look forward to the Halloween episodes of Home Improvement.
Okay.
And that was one of those shows that always did one. But I mean, it goes through, like, Community had some really good
Community's
Halloween
Halloween, so I try to watch those every year. The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror
Of course,
episodes I
Treehouse of
watch
Horror.
every
You
year.
gotta watch some of those classic ones every single year. And then, you know, the Halloween special and all Halloween specials is probably Charlie Brown, right?
Yeah,
Everybody watches
of course.
The Great Pumpkin. So that's something that definitely means Halloween to me. Another thing, because we are privileged enough to live in the Orlando area, another thing I do every year is go to Halloween Horror Nights.
Yep.
For 4 consecutive years I worked at it, so I was there every single. I mean, I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours there just from that. And since I stopped that, you know, I go every year, whether, you know, it's with the frequent fear pass, going multiple times, or this year, like a year like this year, I'll probably go 1 time. But
You haven't gone yet?
No, I have not gone yet.
Okay.
So I know that you're a fan of that as well.
Yeah.
Have you gone?
I've gone 3 times so far.
All right.
I went for the frequent fear pass. I did it last year for the first time because I knew I was going to go twice, and I'm like, well, I might as well just get the frequent fear pass. And now I feel like that's something I'm going to have to do every year, just because it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah,
if there's a night
totally
that if there's a night that you go and I can't fit this in, and you're like, well, you know, I can just come back. Or if I feel like I've talked about coming back, there's no wait for Harry Potter, there's no wait for this. I'm just going to come and just ride the rides one night, maybe do a house. But this year is excellent. I'm very impressed with what they've done this year. They brought American Werewolf in London back. I know we have different opinions on American Werewolf in London. I absolutely love it. I know you're not a big fan of it. The house, I think whether or not you like the movie or not,
Right.
you have to admit that the house is extremely well done and well themed for that film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's one of the great things about Horror Nights, just to pause. Sometimes you might see the commercials if you've never been. Sometimes they do houses for things that you don't like, right?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I don't care about American Werewolf in London. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's scary. I don't think it's anything. But the house, I'm sure it's great. I spent one of the years that I worked at Halloween Horror Nights, I worked at the Dead Silence house. I hate the Dead Silence movie.
Really?
I defended that house to the grave. I thought it was the best house.
That house was
my
really
baby.
good.
I was all about that house, and that movie I did not like at all. Again, we different opinions. That's fine, but so some of the other houses they had this year, there's like an Insidious house.
There's an Insidious house, which is it's excellent. I mean, it's very much on par with, I think.
Darth Maul in it.
There are some Darth Mauls in it, but it works really well. They're not quite as red.
Okay.
There's some really cool effects and some really cool things that happen in there. Probably easily one of my favorite houses. The Freddy vs. Jason house is really cool. And it's interesting to go, I originally went for the cast preview night. A friend got me in for an extra ticket. She had an extra ticket. And so I've been a couple times since, and you really see how the people are starting to kind of come into their own and really get into these characters. The first night, I went probably about a week after preview night, and a lot of them were good, and they weren't amazing. But I went a couple days ago, and you can tell that they're stepping up their game, and the characters are really getting into their roles.
Yeah.
When we went to Freddy vs. Jason last time, some of the people I was with had some complaints that they were just kind of banking on the fact that you're already afraid of Freddy or Jason. They're kind of, Jason's just kind of hulking around. But this year, this time I went, they're really getting into it and definitely going for those scares. And there's some really cool effects. I don't want to get too spoilery about it if you want to keep your surprise for the houses. But there's some really cool moments. There's an underwater... I mean, if you know the movie Freddy vs. Jason, it takes you through the movie of Freddy vs. Jason.
Cool.
You've seen...
Love it.
Okay. Jason's biggest fear is water, so there's a room you walk through. It's just a short room where it's like you're underwater and there's things floating and the water effects are going up the walls and
That's cool.
things like that. The 25th anniversary house is excellent.
Nice.
I don't know if I like it quite as much as the anniversary of the house I did it 5 years ago, I think. The one, it was a big warehouse and you walked through and you had all the signs. That was a little bit more, I think, of a history lesson type deal. Oh, this is this sign, this is this year. This one is kind of the best of the years, and they kind of take you through all the kind of phases of it and some of the best rooms and
Nice.
bring back a lot of the characters, and that's the one that Jack is featured in. That's his big one. Insidious is a lot of fun. The Purge is great. I had another house that I really didn't have high hopes for, but it's very, very good. Walking Dead is It's another Walking Dead house. It's gotten better since I've gone in it, but it's more of
I'm definitely tiring of those.
Yes.
For those who don't know, they've done a Walking Dead house every year for the past,
it's the fifth year.
Fifth year.
So it's more of the same. It's good, but it's more of the same. What else am I missing? Body Collectors is one of the original ones that they're doing. That's very good. That's probably one of my favorite like original houses that they've done for a while.
And the cool thing about going to an event like
Mhm.
that is every time it's something new, because you're not going to get the same characters
Yeah.
the same way. And even when it's a weaker house, like I remember a few years back they had that like Fractured Fairy Tales one,
Yes.
and which visually was was a pretty
Mhm.
good house, but scare wise it like never did anything at all for me. There was the first time that I went in it, the first or second, maybe it was like the second time. There was one room with like Goldilocks and the three bears.
Yes.
Remember that? And there was a giant bear in the corner, but it would just look like a giant bear.
Mhm.
And like the first time, nothing happened with that bear. And the second time, I was just looking at the bear, just like, because it looks like a giant stuffed fucking bear in the corner. And the thing like came at me, and I didn't know at that point that it was a real bear, like that it was a guy, and it wasn't a real bear. But
They just have real bears just loose in the
yeah, it was
houses.
just The Edge with Anthony Hopkins. You gotta kill the motherfucker. I love that movie. But it was a guy in a bear costume, and I didn't know that. And like I literally fell to the ground in terror. I thought the thing was falling on me because I thought it was a real stuffed bear. And so you never know, even in the worst houses, when you're gonna get scared or when just you admire them. You're stepping into the world of a movie you like.
Well, there's this that reminds me. There's this one scene in the Walking Dead house that again I'm not a big fan of the house, but this actually was really interesting. Is the room is dark, and we kind of walk in like right as the lights are going out, like something obviously is going to happen, and there's just a zombie just kind of hunched over on something. Like you can clearly see there's a zombie there, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like we see you, like it's very obvious you're lying there. I don't know if you're trying to scare us.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the thing that he's on starts moving, and it's a giant horse that he's controlling from the guts as he's eating it, and the head's like flapping up and down. And I'm like, okay, like that's
pretty cool. That
got me. Because I'm looking at just him. I'm like, what you're just sitting there. I don't do something. We know you're there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen at Horror Nights. Even like one of the things that you're just definitely not ever supposed to do is touch the characters. Like,
Yeah.
It's a big no-no. But I had one year that I was there with a couple friends, and I had one friend who was like especially scared, and his older brother was with us, and like Freddy Krueger, it was when they had the Nightmare on Elm Street house. Freddy Krueger scared the shit out of my friend, right, which was hilarious. But as he was doing that, my friend's older brother who got scared, the older brother went into like little hole where Freddy Krueger was and scared the shit out of Freddy Krueger after he scared the shit out of it. It was so funny. Don't do that if you go.
Yeah,
It was
please
hilarious.
please respect the scare actors in that.
But it was hilarious seeing Freddy Krueger get so scared. But yeah, Halloween Horror Nights, if you're able to make it Universal Studios Orlando, it's great. They also do it out in Hollywood. I hear great things from out there too. As you can imagine, production value is probably really strong out in Hollywood.
There's a Crimson Peak house out there that we don't have. We'll know that about that. But maybe, hopefully.
We'll see. So you can check that out. So that's another thing that I always do leading up to Halloween. And then, so we got TV, movies, attractions. And then the other thing that I always do leading up to Halloween, it's a tradition. I do it every single year. I've done it every year for 8, 9 years, is I read this book, if you can't read it, Batman, The Long Halloween. That's the absolute version. I have the absolute version of it. I have the regular version of it. I have the issues of it. I have it on digital. I read it some way or another every single year. Have you read The Long Halloween?
No idea.
Batman, The Long Halloween, it was a 12-issue arc that took place over an entire year. It started on Halloween, it ended on Halloween the following year.
Okay.
And each year, each month, it kind of hit sort of, there's a killer, the holiday killer, who is basically killing on major holidays, and Batman doesn't know who he is.
Okay.
You don't know who he is reading it. It's a giant mystery. It involves all sorts of classic Batman characters. It reimagines the origin of Two-Face in a brilliant way.
Okay.
So much of what is in The Dark Knight, which is, in my opinion, the best, not only Batman movie, but the best superhero movie, so much of that movie stems from The Long Halloween.
Really?
Whether it's the rooftop scenes with Gordon and Harvey Dent, all that is like straight from the, like ripped from the pages of Long Halloween. I cannot recommend it enough. It is a fantastic read. If you've never read a Batman comic, I guarantee it will get you addicted. It's written by Jeff Loeb with art by Tim Sale. So good. Routine. Read it every Halloween to prepare for the holiday. Because it has scary moments, it has all sorts of stuff. Everything that's great about Batman is in there for sure. So check that out. Was there anything else that, just leading up to the holiday?
No, there's not a whole. I mean, I'm more into horror than I argue. I'm more into horror than you are.
Right.
I can watch that year round, no problem. So I kind of stay the same.
Right.
Just a little more.
More
focused, more into it. I know we were talking about some movies today, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm never gonna watch that." And I'm like, "Whatever it is, just bring it on.
Right,
I'll watch whatever." One thing I definitely want to do this year to prepare for Halloween, I would like to do, depending if I have time and I can get it, is play Until Dawn.
That's something I really want to do as well.
I think that would be a good one to get kind of in the mood. If you don't know Until Dawn, it's a PS4 exclusive. It's basically a slasher film, kind of in a video game, where you have hundreds of choices throughout the game, and depending on what you do affects the game entirely. Essentially like a butterfly effect type thing.
No characters safe.
Yeah, any character can die. There's hundreds of different ways it can end with different characters, how they die. So I definitely want to check that out. It's supposed to kind of really embrace the slasher genre and kind of poke fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been in development for quite a while. I'm blanking on the developer, and I'm kind of mad that I am.
I can't remember either.
I forget.
But it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games that apparently has great replay value
Mm-hmm.
because so many different things can happen. But it's been, as we talked about in previous shows, a busy time for video games.
Yeah.
And it just felt like one of those games that as much as I want to play it this month in October, it's going to be cheaper on Black Friday. So that's why I've waited.
Yeah.
I know it's like in the red box. I've never red box a video game. I like to buy them. But there are ways to play it. But,
sure.
I'm sure a lot of people have. Obviously, I think it's been a pretty popular game, actually, surprisingly, for Sony.
Yeah, there was an article not too long ago about Sony and how kind of there wasn't a lot of marketing pushed behind it and how kind of surprised they were how well it did, and now they're going to kind of try to push it and make that last throughout the holidays and stuff.
It makes perfect sense. I'll be picking that up soon, if not this month, and definitely before the end of the year, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the idea of it. So that's kind of what we do leading up to Halloween.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of our favorite times of the year. We'll be talking about it in the next couple episodes as well as we go further through October.
It's October. We'll keep it kind of themed towards that for the most part.
And then maybe we'll pull back on being such a horror focused
going forward. Yeah.
Moving forward, but stay with us. Hopefully you'll enjoy some of that stuff. Check out some of the stuff that we talked about, and then let us know what you do to get ready for Halloween.
Do you enjoy Halloween? Do are you one of those I watch a movie every day kind of people, or do you just stay away from it?
Yeah, I can't watch that stuff.
Do you just hate fun and hate gore?
Yeah. No candy for you.
Yeah.
both parents were a dentist, Mormon dentist.
But yeah, and again, as always, if you like this, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've got for this topic.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Okay.
See you next time.
Later.